Oh, wow, that does not smell good. Michael Bublé has perfumes, what? Hey everyone, it's Miranda. Welcome back to my channel where I talk all things budget, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. Today we're gonna be doing a perfume declutter. I have a pretty decent collection, but a lot of them I've had for a while. I'm ready for a little bit of a change. So I'm gonna be sharing my favorite fragrances that I own that I'll definitely be keeping, the ones I just don't like anymore or have gone bad that I need to get rid of, as well as my wish list for what fragrances I want next. And some of the perfumes I'm gonna be decluttering are a little hard to part with, and I'll tell you why. I wanna quickly say thank you to Scentbox for sponsoring this video. I'll talk a little bit about them in a second. All right, let's start with one of my favorite fragrances that I'm definitely going to be keeping. This is Bella by Vince Camuto. So let me go ahead and read the notes to you. So the top notes are Italian bergamot, peach, pear, and lemon ice. So immediately when you smell this, the first impression of it is very fruity and zesty and refreshing. Then as it dries down, the heart notes start to come out, and those are strawberry flower, nectarine blossoms, and jasmine water. So still kind of fruity, but with kind of like a floral hug around the fruit. It's very hard to describe fragrances. And then the base notes, which really help kind of round out the scent, are solar musk, white amber, sandalwood, blonde woods, and caramelized wood. So it's not exactly musky, but there's that warmth underneath it, and after a couple hours of wearing this, that's gonna start coming out. And it's just a really nice floral scent without smelling fake or too sweet. So definitely gonna be keeping this, and I mean, the bottle, hello, so pretty. All right, let's get into the first perfume that I just don't really like anymore and that I will be decluttering. This is the Jennifer Aniston Chapter 1 perfume. Now, I actually really liked this scent when it first came out. I wore it very consistently, but I think my tastes have just kind of changed over the years. One thing about this scent is that it doesn't really develop as complex as some of my more recent favorites. When I first was using it, I actually liked the fact that it kind of stayed smelling the same from first spritz to a couple hours later. But now it's just kind of like one note to me, you know? And I will say this dries down to just be a little too floral for my tastes now. So let me go ahead and read the notes to you. The top notes are pepper, bergamot, and orange flower water. The heart notes are jasmine, tuberose, tiare flower, and grapevine flower. And the base is tonka bean, skin musk, and teakwood. And to me, I just don't feel like the base notes come out strong enough to balance out all of those florals. All right, so now my first fragrance wish list item. This is a scent that you may have seen in some of my previous videos because I have been testing out this fragrance service called Scentbox. It's a monthly fragrance subscription. They send a 30-day sample of designer fragrances straight to your door. And so one of the first scents that I tried with their service was Ferragamo, and I am loving this perfume. So I'm pretty sure that after going through this 30-day tester, I will be purchasing the full size. So clearly I only have the atomizer that I got from Scentbox. I actually love these because they are so travel friendly. I'll show a photo of what the bottle actually looks like here. So what does Ferragamo actually smell like? So we have top notes of Campari, which I believe is like alcohol bitters, right? If my husband's craft cocktail hobby has taught me anything, pretty sure that's what that is. Black currant and rosemary. Middle notes are jasmine, sambac, mate, and rhubarb. And we have base notes of Tahitian vanilla, ambroxan, and sandalwood. I feel like it's the perfect balance between zesty and floral and sweet. And you can kind of pick out each layer if you know what you're smelling for, and it just all works together really well. And as it dries down, those base notes do come out. It starts smelling a little bit more vanilla, but again, never too sweet. All right, so the next fragrance I will be keeping, and it is among my current favorites. This is a little bit of out of left field, but By Invitation Rose Gold by Michael Bublé. And I think I always go into celebrity fragrances a little bit skeptical, but this one's actually pretty good. And it definitely crossed my mind, like, Michael Bublé has perfumes, what? The packaging is pretty darn cool too. It's very reminiscent of the old school Squeeze perfume sprays. We have this metallic rose gold outer packaging, and then the actual fragrance is housed within the glass bottle that kind of looks like it's levitating. Now, probably true of the typical Michael Bublé fan, I feel that this perfume is definitely skewed a little bit older. It is a more sophisticated scent. It's not as youthful or playful in my opinion. But I think there is a time and place for that, especially for more formal occasions. occasions or nights out, and it's still very pleasant. I've been wearing it a lot as like a nighttime fragrance for sure. So the top notes in By Invitation Rose Gold include magnolia, red fruit, and pear. So you are gonna get that refreshing fruity fragrance right off the bat. We have heart notes of rose, peony, and black plum. And I think it's the rose that definitely makes this smell a little bit more mature in my opinion, but it's definitely not overpowering. Don't get me wrong. They did a really, really good job balancing this so that the rose isn't like in your face. The base notes are praline, vanilla, and spice. So as it dries down, you do get a little bit more of that warmth and sweetness, but the spice adds something a little bit flirty to it. So like I said, I've been really using this as like a nighttime perfume for a nice evening out, kind of when I want to feel a little bit more fancy and elegant. All right, another least favorite fragrance that I will be tossing, and I'm actually kind of sad about this, the Clean Reserve Terra Woods perfume. I'm really bummed about this because this used to be one of my absolute favorites, but it has not aged well. You know, there's a lot of chatter about how long a perfume can really last depending on how it's stored and whatnot. It seems like the consensus ranges from like 3 to 5 years. I've had this perfume for 4 years, but the scent has dramatically changed since when I first owned it. So let me tell you what it's supposed to smell like, because this is actually a great fall woodsy fragrance, but yikes, after 4 years, not so much. The top note is geranium and jasmine. The middle is coconut, which I absolutely love. And then the base notes are musk, woodsy, tonka bean, and vanilla. Now, I have read on the internet that usually when perfumes do contain more natural ingredients, those are the ones that will tend to dramatically change throughout the years, especially if they aren't stored in the optimal conditions. The Clean brand is known for using natural and organic ingredients, so I have a feeling that it is the natural ingredients in here that has made it age the way that it has, because for me now, this smells like straight up antibacterial soap. When I first bought this and was wearing and enjoying it, Adam always said that it smelled more like a man's cologne. So the musk and woodsiness of this fragrance was always a little bit more overpowering than the florals and even the coconut, although the coconut did add a little bit of sweetness to it. But even having my nose up to the bottle and on my skin, how it develops, it just smells very soapy to me and not like a pleasant soap. Next on my fragrance wish list, and again, I have it in my Scentbox sample travel bottle, this is the YSL Black Opium Floral Shock. Now with a name like Floral Shock, I was a little bit nervous because I'm not a big fan of overly floral scents, but there's a deepness to this scent that kind of keeps it from being overtly girly. The top notes include lemon, bergamot, pear, and freesia, so we do get a relatively fruity first impression. Then the florals start coming out in the middle notes. We have orange blossom, gardenia, and white flowers. But the base notes are strong enough throughout the entire journey of this fragrance as it dries down all the way. Even on first spritz, I feel like you can get a little bit of the base notes, which include amberwood, white musk, and coffee. So I do feel like those base notes come out sooner rather than later to round this out, although first impressions in the first few hours that you're wearing this, it is going to be more refreshing and zesty and light. Now don't get me wrong, this is definitely a floral fragrance at its core, but I do believe it has enough dimension so that it doesn't smell like a little girl's perfume. The last perfume of my least favorite that I will be decluttering today, and this is gonna be a little hard because it is sentimental, the Britney Spears Fantasy in Bloom Eau de Toilette. In general, this just does not last on my skin, but the reason why it's sentimental is I did wear this on my wedding day. And that wasn't a decision that I made. I actually sprayed a bunch of perfume on little pieces of paper and I let Adam blind pick what perfume I wore on my wedding day because I thought that'd be a fun way to kind of include him on what I was wearing. But I doused myself in this because it is just too subtle on my skin. I don't know, it just does not want to radiate. So even as an eau de toilette, it's just a little too soft for my liking. I really need to drench myself in this to be able to smell it on myself. But it's a very pretty fragrance. So the top notes include berries, green mandarin, and sakura cherry blossoms. And you can see the cherry blossoms on the bottle. The heart notes are tuberose, jasmine, and osmanthus. And we have base notes of Australian sandalwood, vanilla, and amber. So in theory, sounds like a very well-rounded fragrance, but because it is an eau de toilette, those base notes hardly come out. So this does stay very fruity and floral and light until it's just gone. And finally, we have my last wish list perfume, and that is Burberry London. Now this is actually a perfume that I did wear in high school. I got it as a gift from my grandmother, and it's kind of like a sophisticated scent to be wearing as a high schooler. This reminds me of, like, for some reason, being in my car as a high schooler, like when I first got my license. This is probably what my car smelled like because I put on so much. So like I said, to me, this is a little bit more of a sophisticated fragrance, and sure enough, one of the top notes is rose. So I feel like I just associate rose fragrance with maturity. The other top note is honeysuckle. We have middle notes of terry flower, jasmine, peony, and clementine zest, which definitely comes out and kind of gives this perfume a zing. And then the base notes are sandalwood, musk, and patchouli. Now, do not be fooled. The patchouli is not overpowering. I know patchouli can be like a very polarizing scent, but it's just very subtly in there as this dries down. But I do think that is another note that makes this seem a little bit on the older side. But do not worry, you will not smell like an old lady if you wear this. I feel like the clementine zest in the heart notes actually does last a good while into the development process. So it does maintain a little bit of that refreshing and bright element even as it dries down. And even though I've worn this fragrance before and I kind of knew what it smelled like, I wanted to add it to my most recent Scentbox delivery because our sense of smell can change over time. So I wanted to make sure it was still something that I liked, because there are definitely fragrances that I used to wear in high school where I smell them now and I'm like, oh wow, that does not smell good. But this does smell just like I remember, and if anything, I like it even more now. I'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments below of different perfumes that I should try. What I really love for fall and winter are kind of sweet but musky scents. Let me know what I should check out. Today's shout out goes to Diana. Thanks for being a Slashed Squad member. Join me over in this video next where I talk all about how to choose a perfume, how to figure out what you like, and all the vocab you need to know. I'll see you over there. Bye.